Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's 2013 Making a Difference for Women's evening host and panel moderator, a 2012 National Council for Research on Women's honoree, anchor and special correspondent, CNN's Soledad O'Brien.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm going to ask you to take your seats so we can get our program underway. Yes, that means you. It's my pleasure and my honor to be here once again with the National Council for Research on Women. Last year, I was an honoree and the panel moderator, and I am delighted to be back again this year to serve as your program's host and also the 2013 panel moderator. What has impressed me the most, of course, about what we will accomplish tonight is the pragmatic approach to making change and real progress for women. And one has to think, as we have been mired in over the past couple of years, the debt ceiling, the fiscal cliff, and the sequester, which no one's calling the sequester anymore, Congress might be able to learn a thing or two from the council, as we work here with not two, but four stakeholders, the board of the directors, the members circle, the corporate circle, and the president's circle, and they work together cooperatively and strategically and collegially, so it can be done, believe it or not. Tonight, of course, is a celebration, an opportunity to reflect on women's collective advancement across sectors, to pay tribute to honorees, to pay tribute to trailblazers who have made monumental strides toward equality. The Council is motivated and inspired by its own history and forward motion, but with women across the board in Fortune 100 executive committees, equity partners at law firms, aerospace engineers, Hollywood directors, members of Congress still lingering in only 10 to 18% of top leadership positions, while at the very same time, 50% of single mothers have an annual income of less than $25,000 a year. 40% of single mother families are food insecure. The national poverty level for a mother with 2 children is $19,000 a year. So clearly there's much more work to be done for women to achieve true parity and leadership and equality. So now, under the new leadership, President Anya Duggan, who you're going to meet a little bit later tonight, the Council is poised to take some very big steps forward as it continues to support and encourage research in the academic sphere that is then translated and made accessible in not only the corporate and policy and political worlds, but in fact across all sectors, so that the dial of quantifiable social change will move forward in the daily lives of women and girls. So we're all here tonight to rally for progress in the areas where clearly more change is needed. And we should mention that the funds that are raised tonight, and by the way, we have raised roughly $800,000. Yes. The funds that have been raised tonight will make it possible for us to continue to build and use knowledge to help bring women from the margins of leadership, whether it's corporate leadership or community leadership or political leadership, to the center of decision-making and influence, and to work toward building a better world for women and girls, both domestically and globally as well. So I want to begin tonight by introducing to you the chair of the board of the National Council for Research on Women, Lucie Lapovsky.
Thank you, Soledad. We're honored to have you with us once again. You are a role model for so many of us. The work life you keep, the 4 children you raise, your commitment and strength in a challenging industry. I want to wish you good luck in your new adventure. And thank you for the 2nd year in a row to our phenomenal dinner co-chairs, Deborah Slaner-Larkin and Kathleen Lundquist. They have worked to help us exceed our goal this year of $750,000. This is just amazing and so important to the National Council for Research on Women. It will allow us to continue the important work we do in improving the lives of women and girls. The success of this dinner, by bringing so many committed people together and by providing significant financial support for the Council, advances our goals. And thank you to the Board of Directors. Each and every one of you inspires the work of the Council with your wisdom, work, and treasure. You inspire us to continue with our ambitious agenda. I also would like to thank tonight's generous and committed supporters, our underwriters, PricewaterhouseCoopers, BlackRock, Time Warner, and Prudential. Our sponsors, Deborah Slaner-Larkin, Bloomberg, Chubb Group of Insurance Companies, Ernst & Young, Goldman Sachs, and Marge Magner. And please see our program for a full list of all of our most appreciated sponsors and supporters. Now, yes. I also want to thank and congratulate our honorees for 2013. Lisa Garcia Quiros, the Chief Diversity Officer and Senior Vice President of Corporate Responsibility at Time Warner. Sue Wagner, a co-founder and director of BlackRock, where she served as Vice Chairman and a member of the Global Executive and Operating Committees before retiring last year. And Bob Moritz, a member of the PwC Global Network Leadership Team, which includes the senior partners from the network's 4 largest territories. I am honored to chair the Council, an organization which has had only 4 leaders in its 31-year history. I am thrilled that these 4 women are with us tonight. The strength and foresight of these outstanding women. Mariam Chamberlain, who is over there with us, our first CEO. Mariam, wave to everyone. Mary Ellen Capek. Mary Ellen, where are you? Over there? Mary Ellen Capek was our second CEO. Tonight, we will be honoring Linda Basch, our President Emerita, who we are honoring. And you will all get to meet Anya Dugan, our new president, who is just assuming the mantle of leadership. This continuity of leadership gives the Council the standing that it has in the community, in the women's space, to carry on its important work that lies ahead for us. The Council has tackled the critical issues related to the economic security for women, most recently with work on child care and the advancement of women of color, and the wonderful conversation we had this afternoon. I hope many of you were there to hear it. The Council has been ever vigilant in identifying the importance of collecting data which is identified by gender and race, so that we can clearly track the continued inequalities which exist. We do have significant challenges, as Soledad pointed out, in ensuring a level playing field for girls and women in this country and in the world. The Council continues to motivate work around these important issues and to harness and synthesize the research that is being done by all of our member centers and to chronicle the best practices of our corporate partners. I'm thrilled that we are honoring Linda Basch tonight. Linda led the Council for more than 16 years. She moved our agenda forward. She kept us relevant. She tackled difficult issues, and she worked tirelessly to guarantee our financial stability. Linda has left us not only with a legacy of work from which to build our future agendas, but also a balanced budget and an endowment of more than $1 million. Having chaired the Finance Committee for many years, everyone knows how important those things are to me. But in this time of challenges for so many women's organizations, it's critical to be able to be stable financially. Linda has provided us both with the intellectual and the financial backbone to allow the Council to move forward with vigor. And Linda has been a superb leader and a great colleague. I would now like to introduce 3 women who have known Linda for many years, who will each briefly pay tribute to her. Radhika Balakrishnan, representing the network of member centers, is professor and director of the Women's Center for Global Leadership at Rutgers and well known for her work promoting gender equality and economic security. She got to know Linda when they both worked at Wagner University more than 20 years ago, and their friendship and mutual respect grew when working together on the Human Security Project, which has become the basis for much of the Council's work. Radhika. Beverly Tatum, a colleague of Linda's for many years, is representing the President's Circle, is president of Spelman College. Dr. Tatum has put women's leadership at the center of the mission of Spelman and has frequently been host for council programs on her campus. Beverly. Representing the Corporate Circle is Melinda Wolf, Bloomberg's head of professional development. Melinda inspired Linda to begin the Corporate Circle several years ago and has worked as a partner with Linda to shape the group and develop its agenda. Melinda chaired the Corporate Circle for many years and now sits on the council board. Melinda.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here. I first met Linda and when we both worked at Wagner College, which was quite some time ago, and we just returned from the Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing. And we had a presentation, and it was the first time that I met Linda. She was a dean, and I was a faculty member. We both left Wagner. I went to Marymount Manhattan College, and Linda started as the president of the National Council for Research on Women. And as Linda focused more and more of NCRW's effort on economic policy, I became more engaged with the National Council. 4 years ago, I became the executive director for the Center for Women's Global Leadership at Rutgers University. And since I've been there, I've increased the focus of the center on human rights and economic policy, something that Linda and NCRW has also worked on, and we also worked on a human security project. So we've become closer allies as a member center over the years, and I really look forward to working with Anya Duggan as she takes her leadership, and I wish Linda the best in her new endeavors and thank her for her leadership that she's shown at NCRW. Thank you.
Good evening. Whenever I'm asked to describe excellence in leadership, I always start with the ABCs: affirming identity, building community, and cultivating leadership of the next generation. And when I think about Linda Basch, these ABCs come to mind. Linda has been a tireless advocate for diversity and inclusion, affirming the identities of all the NCRW constituents. She has built community, giving us all a common language through the data about women's lives that we all can use. And she has cultivated the leadership of the next generation of women, our students, which is especially important to the President's Circle, giving them the tools of empowerment through the work of NCRW. On behalf of the President's Circle, Linda, we thank you for your leadership and for modeling such excellence. Congratulations.
In 1996, I sat down in a coffee shop with Linda to talk about the notion of building a corporate circle. It was an idea that I shared with Sunita Holzer, and we thought it would be a great idea to initiate something like this to benefit both the academic and the corporate sectors. And from that, Linda really took the initiative to grow the corporate circle, working with some of us who were really committed to doing it, to shape an agenda for the council, and also to draw from the very rich resources of member centers to address the needs of many of the corporate circle members. And I can give you many examples because we've recently heard from Deborah Spar, we've heard from Iris Bonet, we hear from wonderful academics who help us shape how we think about what we do each day. And in this sense, Linda was so important in building bridges between the academic and the corporate sectors. Linda's been instrumental in leveraging research needs of corporations and the research of member centers to advance the dialogue, particularly around how women's corporate leadership can have a larger impact on the empowerment of women around the globe. The corporate circle has also been a critical source of revenues for the Council, and Linda's prescient incorporation of companies has helped the Council grow and thrive. She and the Council have been eternally grateful for this support and have also benefited by it. So with these three perspectives that you've heard tonight about Linda, I hope you can get a sense of how critical she has been in shaping what we have today at the National Council for Research on Women. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to present President Emerita of the National Council for Research on Women, our dear friend and colleague, Linda Basch.
Wow. I'm really just humbled and touched. Thank you for this wonderful tribute. And coming from you three amazing women, really wow. And many thanks to Lucie Lapovsky. I'm so appreciative to the NCRW board, NCRW board, past and present, and all of you in this room. Thank you, thank you. I view my years at the Council as my most satisfying professional experience. And let me tell you why. I cut my teeth in the women's space when my husband and I worked in Nigeria very early in our careers to inoculate babies against measles, a killer disease in tropical Africa. My task was to allay the fears of uneducated mothers who many thought would resist the inoculation gun being used to squirt the vaccine into their children's arms. But here I learned, and so did everyone else, about the determination and courage of women to take risks when it really matters. To our surprise, women turned up in that dusty road in the thousands, and they were there by 4 a.m. for this vaccine, many having walked barefoot for days for what they thought could help their children. I knew then that I wanted to create more openings and opportunities for women and girls and for their leadership. So, fast forward several years, it seemed I was always working on women's issues, but through the back door. So you can imagine my enthusiasm when I was offered my position at the Council. The opportunity to work full-time to help create a research agenda to advance gender equality seemed like a dream. And as an anthropologist, I knew how important research is for shaping social change. At the Council, I stood on the shoulders of our founders, Mariam Chamberlain, Mary Ellen Capek, and many others who are here tonight. So what am I most proud of in terms of our contribution to the march forward for women and girls? First are the collaborations and partnerships we built, and that means with many of you, and you've heard about some of them. We recognized that we needed to work across academic, research, policymaking, philanthropic, corporate, and gender silos to enable women and girls to play active roles in shaping a world in which everyone has equal opportunity to develop and use their talents. Second, we produce knowledge based on solid research drawn from our network, in which we examined women's gains, but also the gaps and challenges, and identified solutions and recommendations. And we circulated our findings widely as we advocated for change. We looked at women and girls in the sciences and technology, at women in the financial services, at strategies for retaining and advancing women of color in the corporate world and higher education, at how to change childcare policies to improve access and quality, and how to build women's sustainable economic security. Building on this work at the Council, I'm now in a year-long think tank at Harvard for advanced leaders to think through ways to create innovative change to enhance the public good. And we all know how important women and girls are to this effort. And I'm going to be very eager to share my findings with all of you and my learnings. So, looking to the future and around this room, my vision is for a world in which women and men will share leadership and power and by 2025. And what exciting changes we anticipate will follow for all. And I know that NCRW, under the able leadership of President Anya Duggan, will help make this aspiration a reality. In closing, let me say how much I appreciate the support so many of you gave to enable the Council to grow over the past 16 years, and of the support you are continuing to provide. As we know, the Council is the legacy of us all. Thank you very much and enjoy the evening.
Linda, congratulations to you.